And thank you for tuning in to Town Meeting TV's coverage of Town Meeting Day 2026. My name is Christine Lott. This program is part of a series of budget presentations and candidate forums hosted by Town Meeting TV in advance of Town Meeting Day. The election is on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. These forums are made possible by Town Meeting TV's generous underwriting partners. You can find all forums at cctv.org/TMD2026 or on Town Meeting TV's YouTube channel, where auto-generated captions are available. If you're tuning in on YouTube, click the subscribe button to stay tuned to local democracy this election season. On tonight's program, we will hear from municipal staff from South Burlington about their budget and items on their ballot. Those guests are Jesse Baker, City Manager, and Steve Locke, Fire Chief and Deputy City Manager. Welcome.
Thank you.
If you're tuning in live, we also welcome your questions at 802-862-3966. If you call in, we'll do our best to prioritize your question, but we will screen to make sure we don't have any repeats. We ask that you share your name, the town you live in, and then ask your question. So we will get started with a presentation, and I will hand it over.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine. I do have to say we had the privilege of serving in Winooski together, and it's really fun to be here with you tonight. So thank you for your service here. So Steve and I have two different items to present on tonight. We wanted to talk about our municipal budget and then the bond vote that will be on our ballot on Town Meeting Day. So we'll go through both of those and then provide information about how folks vote in South Burlington moving forward. For those watching later on or online now, all of our budget information is on our city website, so folks can go and look at all of the line item budgets, the roll-up budgets, our capital improvement plan, and other documents if they're so interested. So I think it's important to start with who is South Burlington and what does this budget fund. So South Burlington has about 195 employees across 14 departments. We are what I think of as in Vermont a full-service municipality, primarily meaning that we have full-time police, fire, EMS coverage. We also have a public library, a recreation and parks department, and obviously a lot of infrastructure to maintain with our public works department. We also have over 130 volunteers that serve with us every month on a variety of different boards and commissions across the city. So that's who we're talking about when we talk about the budget. So this budget that the staff put together over the fall and into the winter and then was taken up by the City Council in December really set two key goals. One, the council wanted us to ensure we're continuing our current level of services. And then two, they wanted us to really strategically look at funding policy choices they had already made over the course of the last year. And they really wanted us to do both of those things through the lens of affordability. So what this budget does is it continues our current level of service delivery. So everything that we are doing today, we will continue to do next year. But it maintains that focus on affordability. So it includes, you'll see in a later slide, a 3.3% increase in the tax rate. They set that target based on what inflation was in August. That is what our collective bargaining agreements benchmark to, so that they didn't want to see an increase above that. Again, trying to be sensitive to our taxpayers, our ratepayers, and ensure that they could continue to afford to live in South Burlington. It also uses a small amount of one-time funds to, again, be sensitive to that property tax rate. It maintains our $1.25 million investment in our annual paving budget, and funds our community outreach team, which is our Howard Center caseworkers embedded in our police department, and continues to fund our community justice services. As folks may know, our community justice services across Chittenden County are being transitioned into service provision by the City of Burlington. So as we look at that transition and plan for that transition, want to make sure we have some dollars remaining to ensure that same level of service delivery.
Public safety is important.
Public safety is very important. So the other big thing that this budget does is invest in those policy decisions that the council has made over the last couple of years. Specifically, it provides resources to fund the implementation of our economic development strategic plan. That strategic plan was adopted by the council in August. It also includes resources to continue to support the vibrancy of City Center and our city cemeteries. Mid-year this year, also our council implemented stipends for folks serving on boards and committees. I know Winooski has done that already, really to ensure that we are hearing from all voices across our community. So this budget funds that as well. So all of those priorities result in a total municipal budget of about $58 million. $37 million of that is in the general fund, and then the rest are our enterprise funds or our little businesses that exist within the city to fund water, wastewater, stormwater, and our rental registry. And then we have about $19 million of other special funds that we use for projects. It's important to note that of that amount of money, only about $23 million of that comes from property taxes.
Oh, wow.
So of that $58 million, $23 million comes from property taxes. So this is the big slide, right? This is the slide that I love that shows all the numbers, but it's really dorky and may not make sense to a lot of other folks. So what we've tried to do is highlight, circle what's important in here. So this budget increases the property tax rate, as I said, 3.3% from this current year to next year, if approved, or a little under 2 pennies on the tax rate. For people usually want to know, what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
So for the average condo owner in the city, that will result in about $54 more next year than this year.
For the whole year?
For the whole year.
Wow.
And for the average homeowner, about $79 for the whole year, with that increase.
That's pretty low.
It's still, I mean, every increase is an increase, but we
but
really try to focus on affordability for this budget.
Yeah.
Just want to highlight a few quick assumptions that went into building this budget. So we are a growing city. We are a city that's trying to marry our priorities around addressing the housing crisis and addressing the climate crisis. So we do see new homes coming online every year and are estimating about 1.5% growth in our grand list. We also have a tax increment financing district, our city center, where if folks haven't been to Garden and Market Street yet, really welcome you to our new downtown. So we're assuming that increases about 20% of increase in the assessed value. We've also built in all of our contractual obligations to our team. We are seeing an increase in health insurance rates, but we've also changed our contribution rates to ensure that our staff is also paying their fair share of their health costs. And then we've tried to get really aggressive with non-property tax revenues, again, to really prioritize that affordability in the city.
Yeah, less than half of the revenues are coming from property tax?
In the general fund, about 64% come from property tax.
That's pretty well diversified compared
Yes.
to my town and some others.
Yeah, we have the great benefit in South Burlington of having the University Mall and having local options tax, so that really helps diversify our revenue streams.
That's great.
One of the other priorities of the council over the last 5 years has been to continue our investment in our capital improvement plan. So our capital improvement plan is our plan that outlines how we're going to invest in municipal infrastructure, in our roads, sidewalks, buildings, water lines, et cetera. We've really tried to incrementally increase that every year as costs to do that work increase. We want to make sure we're keeping up with the preventative maintenance and keeping up with our investment. So this budget includes a 4.3% increase in the capital budget funded by the general fund. And a lot of that, again, is that $1.25 million in our paving plan.
Okay.
I do want to be clear, typically I'm not a big proponent of using one-time funds to fund operating budgets because it just sets you back in a hole in future years. Yeah. Having said that, to meet our affordability goals, we did use $78,000 of our fund balance to fund 3 one-time projects that this council wanted to prioritize this year. So it's a specific signal upgrade project, a library self-checkout machine, and an additional amount of funding that our downtown organization, our South Burlington City Center Collaborative, was requesting. We are fortunate that we have a healthy fund balance right now, so even with those allocations, we have about $450,000 above our targeted fund balance amount that is still sitting in our savings account. So if something goes very wrong throughout the year, we have the funds to draw on to address those needs.
And you said those were one-time expenses as well, so.
Exactly, so they may not need to be invested in the future.
Okay.
Yep. So all of that is to say we are three quarters, just about 75% of our total general fund budget. It prioritizes public safety and public works, the kind of core things Vermont municipalities do. And then the remaining quarter is administrative costs, city clerks, HR, finance, IT, planning and zoning, those other aspects of our city that are also critically important to our work. And then, as you noted before, we are very well diversified in our general fund budget, with about 64% coming from property taxes, and then another about 15% coming from our local options taxes. Having said all, we focus on the general fund because that's the amount that the voters vote on, right?
Yes.
That's what they're going to vote to increase for themselves over the year. In South Burlington, we also have these 4 enterprise funds. The council has the authority to approve those budgets and set those rates, but I think it's always important to talk about those as part of these presentations because the ratepayers are the same as the property taxpayers.
Right.
So to be fully transparent to the community about what they are going to pay next year, it's important to talk about these. So we have 2 major capital projects in our utilities. We just installed a second water tower, and we have a large upgrade to one of our wastewater treatment plants underway. So with those 2 capital projects, we are seeing our utility rates increase. For the average homeowner, that will be $75 for over the course of the year. There's a huge caveat in that analysis, though, which is 41% of our ratepayers pay our minimum payment. They don't use very much water, so they pay that minimum amount. So for that 41% of our ratepayers, their rate will only increase $40 for the year. Okay. So you really need to fully understand these numbers, you need to look at your water bill and understand your usage.
Will it say for someone if they're the minimum ratepayer?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So with that, I will turn it over to Steve to talk about our bond vote.
Sure. So also on the ballot, Article 3 will be asking the voters to consider borrowing money for an addition to Fire Station 1, which is located on Dorset Street. So we have a prevention division of 5 or 6 people, but we recently increased that when the council passed a resolution to create a system where we now have rental housing and rental registry, something we had never done before.
Oh, okay.
And so when we put on an additional workforce, we knew that space was going to be a challenge. And so that team is currently operating out of a temporary office trailer on the site, which is just not conducive to the workforce of today's workforce. So like day to day, this cold weather, it's very cold in there. And in the summer, it's very hot. There's no bathroom facility, and there's no facilities. And it does break our prevention team into 2 different places. So they're not while they're one team, they're in 2 different locations, and it's just it's difficult for them to be to work well the way we anticipate them to happen. So what we're proposing is an addition to the north side of the building, about 2,300 square feet. That'll all be office space, but it'll allow all members of the prevention team to be in there. Bathrooms and a little kitchenette break area, and a conference room for when members of the public come in. We often see when someone is going through a design to build a building, they'll be coming to meet with our team to make sure that it's meeting the fire code. And so right now we have to, it's not conducive, a good place where they're kind of meeting. So all that comes together into one space. Okay. Here's a design of what we anticipate it would look like. This is the first rendering, like a street view rendering. So that lighter color is the addition. Goes on to right now, which is just currently a parking lot. And again, we'll be looking for the voters to approve up to $2.3 million on a 20-year note. Here's a street view of the same design. So again, here's the project cost. While we're anticipating it to cost to be about $2.5 million, the rental registry is an enterprise fund, so we have money set aside already. So we have about $200,000 sitting aside. That's why we're saying no more than $2.3 million. And we, due to some council action earlier this year, We believe this will be paid completely through user fees and not the general fund, not the tax rate. So council adopted a capital assessment fee on all permits issued by the fire department.
Okay.
And we know that will generate about $150,000 a year. And then we some excess revenue or surplus revenue out of our rental registry gives us enough money to make that bond payment over the 20 years. And in fact, at the rate some of the development we're seeing, if this continues, we're quite likely we'd be able to pay it off early. So this is really an investment in our housing and the team that really ensures all of our citizens have safe housing. We now have more people in our community living in rental housing than we do in single-family homes, or in multifamily homes than single-family homes, and all multifamily homes fall under our jurisdiction to ensure safe housing. So that's what the Article 3 will be asking our citizens to consider.
So no tax impact, long-term solution for this staffing that you already have in place.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, we think so.
And really continuing to focus on those folks who live in rental housing in a really tight market. You know, we're concerned that when the market is so tight, folks aren't reporting violations of health and safety standards. So we really want to make sure that they feel like they have a place that they can come to and make sure that they are meeting the same standards that others in our community are meeting.
We have over 3,400 units of rental housing registered so far. So,
That's a lot of units to stay on top of.
Yeah, a lot of units.
And I know when there is an issue, it's very time consuming to do follow-up. You need staff.
Yep.
And I would say that this is also a benefit. It's a benefit to everyone in the community to have high quality standard of housing in your neighborhood.
Yeah, we were only doing complaint-based inspections. We just didn't have the capacity, and so adding these additional resources 2 years ago, now we're about halfway through inspecting those.
Oh, great.
And so certainly, and it'll be in a rotating reinspection based upon the number of violations we find the first time through. So, but again, leading to much safer housing for all our occupants.
And taking the onus off of the tenant to
Who
be in charge of
unfortunately doesn't want to complain because, so.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah. So a few other quick notes about Town Meeting Day. So there'll be a few other opportunities for folks to hear us do this presentation and learn about what's on the ballot. Just a reminder that, as you said at the beginning, Town Meeting Day is March 3rd. We will, the night before Town Meeting, do an informational session at City Hall in the auditorium. And then I just want to call attention to two resources that our team has put on our website for folks this year. So one is the 2026 elections request form. So if you are interested in voting by mail or early, you can go in now and submit those requests to the city clerk. And she will make sure that those ballots are immediately mailed to you when they're printed. And you can do that for all three elections this year: Town Meeting Day, the primary, and the general election in November. The other interesting thing that our team put together was a Find Your Polling Place active map on our website. So if you're new to South Burlington, or if you're concerned that you just want to make sure that you're going to the right place on Town Meeting Day, you can click on this link on our website, type in your street address, and it will show you a picture of where you vote, the address of where you vote, and just make sure that's as easy and accessible as possible for you.
And reminder that in Vermont, you can vote on Town Meeting Day. And you can actually register. Sorry, not vote. Of course
Please
you can.
vote, yes.
You can register to vote all the way up into Town Meeting Day.
That's right.
While we have you here, you know, you mentioned the growth in the city center earlier. I, as a non-resident who drives through sometimes, I've seen that happening over the course of recent years. Can you tell us a little bit about what is recently been developed there and what is in store for the future?
Sure. So South Burlington has wanted a downtown for about 4 decades. It dates back 4 decades in our city plan, really wanting that place to call their own, much like downtown Winooski has, Burlington has Church Street, wanted that downtown feeling. So if folks haven't been to Market Street and Garden Street recently, it's the little new community tucked off Dorset Street behind Healthy Living and Trader Joe's. it's really coming alive. So we have welcomed about 500 new homes in the last 2 years to Garden and Market Street. We have 50,000 square feet of commercial space on the first floor, really trying to build that mixed-use neighborhood. So Bliss B has opened, Felino's is opening later this winter. We have a spa opening, the Scale has opened, and we're really looking for business owners to come and start their businesses or grow their businesses on Market Street and be part of that downtown feel. We also have a fair amount of capital projects happening in City Center. So folks may have been detoured down Garden Street when they left Trader Joe's this construction season. So Garden Street will, starting next summer, connect all the way from Dorset Street over to Williston Road right by Al's French Fries.
Oh, wow.
So a new kind of four-way intersection in our downtown, trying to get that walkability, bikeability, transit-oriented city center. We also have partnered with Green Mountain Transit to provide 15-minute bus service to Market Street. So really making the bus the easy choice for riders to ensure that they can get throughout our city or into downtown Burlington. So we have a lot going on. It will continue to be bustling, hopefully, for decades to come, and really invite people down to Garden and Market Street.
Yeah, if you don't live in South Burlington, but in the surrounding area, there's a lot of new stuff to check out. I also wanted to ask about, you mentioned the annual paving plan and some sidewalk funding. Are there any more details you can share about where it's going to be targeted in the upcoming budget year?
So I can share a few details, and there are, again, plugging the website, there is a whole paving page on our website that we really encourage people to keep an eye on. So for the last couple of construction seasons, we've really prioritized the paving of Dorset Street, and that will continue this year with the next segment of Dorset Street being paved. It is right in our downtown, so it is a bit disruptive, but we're really thankful that folks have been so patient. And then from there, we did an inventory over the last couple of years of the pavement condition index of all of our streets and sidewalks across the city. And once we have our budget number, we can overlay that budget number onto our streets to ensure that we keep our pavement condition index, or PCI, at a standard level that our community demands.
That's great. You know, streets and sidewalks are a big driver of complaints.
Big driver
Very
of
important
complaints.
to everyone.
Oh, one other plug, just while I have the microphone. Williston Road is in rough shape. Anyone who drives down Williston Road knows that it is in rough shape. It is a state highway, but we are very thankful to partner with VTrans on maintaining our state highways that travel throughout our city. So VTrans will not be here this summer to repave, but they will be here next summer summer of 27 to repave Williston Road. So we're going to have to deal with it for another rest of this winter and one more winter, but it is on the docket.
That's good news that it's folks know that it's coming and it'll be dealt with. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I do want to just highlight, I am impressed with the affordability that you've worked into this budget. You guys are getting a lot for a raise that is equal to or less than inflation. We'll see where that pans out. And as a neighboring community who has been struggling to meet that in recent years, I know it takes hard work, and I know that you spend time, looking for where you can shave some costs while maintaining that level of service that folks expect from you.
Yeah. We're also very lucky that we've implemented a lot of technology systems in the last couple of years that have hopefully streamlined our processes for our employees a bit. So again, looking at those individual, how we make our team more efficient so they can provide better service to our residents in the most cost-effective way.
Yeah, that's great. Being more productive with the same sort of resource that you had to begin with.
And allow staff to focus on that customer interaction, not the processing of paper.
Yes, that's great. Modernization.
Yep.
Well, is there anything else that you want to add about the bond or the budget, or make sure that your residents know about for this town meeting day?
Just encourage folks to come out and vote, and talk to their neighbors, ask questions. We are here for questions. If folks need additional information as they consider their ballots, we are happy to answer those questions.
And you have a live presentation slated for February 18th?
Yes, at the Senior Center. We have a beautiful city senior center at 180 Market Street. So they always invite us to come in and talk to them about what they're going to see on their ballots.
And that's open to any residents?
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. You can ask questions directly of your municipal staff if there's anything in this budget you want to know more about or you're unclear about. Your website one more time?
southburlingtonvt.gov.
That's where all the important information is for South Burlington residents. I want to thank you for tuning in to Town Meeting TV's ongoing coverage of local candidates, budgets, and ballot items. You can find this and many more forums at cctv.org/TMD2026 or on Town Meeting TV's YouTube channel. Don't forget to cast your ballot on Town Meeting Day on or before March 3rd. Then tune into Town Meeting TV's results recap show that evening, starting live at 7 p.m. There's some good commentary usually. You can learn a lot more about what's going on across our county and state. Contact your local clerk to find out how to obtain a ballot and to register to vote. In Vermont, you can register to vote all the way up until Election Day. Thank you for watching and sharing Town Meeting TV. Jesse Baker, Steve Locke, thank you both for coming in and giving us some more information.
It's a pleasure.